today we have for the second slot, today we have with us none other than CA Bimal Jain sir, who definitely needs no introduction. He is a serving member of our fraternity friends, a professor, a guide, someone we truly look up to when we talk about GST. So if I talk about his accolades, friends, this session shall be over for sure. So without wasting any time, I would like to invite Bimal Jain sir to elaborate on the discussions.
At the outset, let me thank Team Webtel and Team AFTP and CA Preetham Goyalji and all the team members. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. And first of all, let me congratulate and wish happy CA Day and happy GST Day. Topic going on with the GST, we are celebrating GST. 4 years journey of GST, where we are, where from we started, and where we are heading for. 3 important aspects we must look into. If we look at where from we started, of course, we started with a big bang note, that multiplicity of taxes, 17 indirect taxes and 23 cess merging into one basket. And the same line today tweeted by none other than Honorable Prime Minister. Multiplicity of taxes subsumed in GST. Cascading of taxes will go away. Yes, certainly gone. But barring 2 components. The first component, petroleum product being out of GST. So chargeable to pre-GST taxes, of which no credit available in GST regime. Second, though intention was seamless flow of credit, object clause of GST. But what happened? Section 17, subsection 5, block credit. Who thought of? And I'm going to discuss some of the point pertaining to 17, subsection 5 as well. Third, double taxation. Pre-GST, we were having and struggling with double taxation. A lot of transactions were exposed to double taxation. Software, restaurant services, construction, right to use of movable goods. At least certainty in GST, a transaction can either be supply of goods or supply of services. Where from? Schedule 2. Last is one nation, one tax and one market. That is how it is being promoted in the market. GST going to be one nation, one tax. On one parameter, I do agree, it is one nation, one tax. If you go to pre-GST, look at NCR region, VAT applicable in Delhi was not applicable in Haryana, just 10 kilometers away in Gurgaon. What is applicable in Haryana, not applicable in UP. And we were having state barrier. State VAT varying from one state to another state. At least this state barrier has gone. We have become unified India. And I am proudly saying today, GST law is a Gita, Bible and Quran. Subham, I need your attention. Subham, I need your attention because I can see you are talking over phone. That distract my mind.
No, 100%, sir. Sorry. 100%.
Yeah, maybe you can give me your 15 minutes of your life. That might help me to deliver my topic. Okay. One nation, one tax. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari. I normally say GST law is a Gita, Bible and Quran. Irrespective of any language, religion, race and caste. Applicable from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. If I am doing GST in Delhi, believe me, I can do GST in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal. Same law applicable. That is what the beauty of GST law. But there are certain regions. I was just, at PSD platform, we have invited Joint Secretary GST Council today, and I have raised 9 pointers before him saying that, sir, journey of GST last 4 years. I'm looking for some point and pointers which I want to draw. Same 9 pointers I want to put up here for all the participants, attendees, they may say in a chat box, little be active. Do not see, I really want you to get involved. And I believe GST means Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Unless we come together, we will not learn GST. So GST is a talk where we have to be tuned together. The first point which I draw attention of Joint Secretary GST Council, I said, sir, you have subsumed 17 indirect taxes, no problem. Multiple taxable event has gone, and this program is being attended by a lot of technical experts. They can also voice and echo with me. Now in GST, taxable event is supply, but the way term supply is being defined, it is subjective definition and inclusive definition. Under section 7, subsection 1, clause A, the definition of supply starts supply includes without defining what is supply. Subjective. An inclusive definition, I'm still worried about. The term manufacture applicable for central excise, not settled as yet. 70 years gone, still we are debating, litigating whether activity undertaken is a manufacture or not. What will happen to this term supply? Time will say. We have started all talking about this cross-charge, employer to the employee. Supply is the biggest taxable event, and the way they have left it open-ended. Second point I said, sir, any law requires certainty, visibility. Can you introduce retrospective amendment? Retrospective amendment are not good for the taxation. You know, in this Union Budget 2021, they have introduced section 7, subsection 1, subclause AA. Retrospectively applicable to Dunaway Supreme Court, Apex Court judgment in Calcutta Club. So provision of services by club to its member, chargeable to service tax or VAT. Now this was the issue in GST as well. Lot of us has taken a call that in pre-GST principle of mutuality was there, service tax VAT not leviable, hence GST not leviable. But with retrospective amendment, by way of explanation, deemingly saying club and members are separate person. Any taxation, if you want to levy, let it be government taking policy decision, want to introduce this provision, they could have done prospectively instead of retrospective amendment. Coming to the third component. I'm asking and then I will give the reply. You try to give the answer within yourself. High sea sale, which is happening beyond the custom frontier of India. Merchant trading, third country, outside India. And inbound sale. These are not chargeable to GST, and rightly so they have included in Schedule 3. Neither a supply of goods nor supply of services. But from which date? 1st February 2019. The problem is at ground level, the officers are not understanding it is clarificatory in nature. And whenever any clarification amendment is being done, it is applicable retrospectively. But they are issuing so-called notices for high sea sale, merchant trading, and inbound sale. Who is going to really solve this country for unwanted litigation, creating complication for all of us together? I said this is not the way to read the law. And even GST Council has said, and circular was issued prior to 1st February 2019 that these are not chargeable to GST. Third point. Fourth point, and very interesting, now you will understand that GST law is not going as per the theme. What is GST? Destination-based consumption tax. Am I right? This is the theme of GST. There is taxability on intermediary services. Recently, Bombay High Court judgment in the Dharmendra M. Jani, 2 member of division bench giving contrary decision. Why contrary decision? Just imagine a situation. I'm a person helping foreign supplier. I'm a person in Delhi helping a foreign supplier to promote Indian market. So I'm giving services to a recipient outside India, getting money in convertible foreign exchange. Will it be export of services? If I go to section 13, subsection 8, clause B of IGST Act, place of supply is location of supplier. If GST is a destination-based consumption tax, then this has traveled outside India to a recipient outside India, used by a recipient outside India. Why will not be export? Just because POS provision? Why POS is contrary against the theme of destination-based consumption tax. Coming to the next point, transitional credit, starting from 1st July 2017. It was my vested credit lying on 30th June 2017, vested credit, which I need to transfer in GST regime by filing so-called Tran 1. I could not submit Tran 1 for whose fault? It was my fault. No, system was not working well. GST and common portal was not working. Lot of technical glitches. And then department saying, no, Bimal, this credit is not available because you have not filed your Tran 1. Date got extended, and whereby GST Council recommend the case. Those cases will be considered. That is how the provision was evolving. A lot of dispute. There was grievances redressal committee. I do not know how many of you has gone to this grievances committee and how many redressal you could have done. To my mind, this committee was there, but we were crying and crying. A lot of different high court judgment, and some of the high court judgment are affirmed by the Honorable Apex Court, Supreme Court. Take the example of this brand equity treatise by Delhi High Court. Honorable Delhi High Court has said that Rule 117, talking about the timeline to submit Tran 1, is directory in nature. Directory in nature. It is not compulsory. And it cannot forfeit my vested right. Of course, it cannot go in perpetuity. So they said residue clause of limitation act 3 is going to be applicable. Contrary judgment from Bombay High Court, Nalco Limited. Bombay High Court said, since petitioner has not tried even to log into GST and common portal for filing Tran 1, hence this is the reason he will not be given benefit. There are three kinds of taxpayer. The taxpayer who did not try anything, the taxpayer who tried but could not submit, and the taxpayer who could submit but wrongly filed the Tran 1. Whether this benefit is not available. And in GST, there's one concept which is called ticket. I do not know whether you heard of ticket. Like Damini picture on a lightened note, date pe date, date pe date. GST में ticket पे ticket है. If any problem on GST and common portal, आप ticket raise कीजिए. और वो ticket 24 घंटे में automatically resolve. आपका कुछ resolve नहीं हुआ. Nothing is being solved. वो ticket आपकी vanish as a resolve हो गया. Am I right in saying so? My all attendees must say, I'm little worried what is happening. This common portal was not ready as per the law. Today looks like law is on one hand and GST and common portal on the other hand, and they are not married together. So what is law is not being replicated on GST and common portal. It is going in two different directions. Who is going to help the taxpayer? Coming to the fifth point, I will not go beyond. I know the time limitation here also will not go beyond, but I will give you 4 or 5 more points and then I will sum up my point. I raised this point to Joint Secretary GST Council today. I said, sir, being buyer and recipient, you have paid the taxes to the supplier. Supplier, even after collecting, has not deposited the taxes. Who is at fault? Is a supplier or recipient? As per section 16, subsection 2, clause C, you're saying recipient, buyer, I will not give you the credit. But it's a supplier. who even after collecting the tax, not deposited to the government exchequer. I asked Joint Secretary GST Council, sir, please tell me, until this GSTR 2A came into the picture, which was supposed to be coming from July 17, it was supposed to be, but came sometime in 2019. How the recipient would be knowing that even after collecting the tax, this supplier has not deposited? GSTR 2A came in 2019. Then only initially we were struggling together whether supplier has paid the taxes or not. This information first time came on public domain sometime in 2019. Can you penalize the buyer, recipient prior to GSTR 2A? And there's legal maxim, lex non cogit ad impossibilia. You cannot compel a person to do something impossible. Buyer was not knowing even that this supplier has not paid the taxes. And now you're saying my credit would be denied. Madras High Court judgment, DY Bethel Enterprises. And this judgment is on right footing that department cannot demand tax from the buyer unless they take action against the defaulting supplier. आप पहले defaulting supplier को तो पकड़ो, registration आप ही ने दिया है. Go back and do investigation inquiry against defaulting supplier. I'm not extending my discussion, but touching base. Next point I raised before Joint Secretary. I said, sir, there's hue and cry of GSTR 2A or 2B. Credit to be availed as per GSTR 2A or 2B. I said, sir, if I read the law, as per me, there's no relevance of 2A or 2B. Then he wanted me to extend further, so I'm extending for a minute. I said, sir, if my supplier, as a buyer, you're purchasing goods from me, let's say you're in Maharashtra, I'm supplying from Delhi, IGST leviable. While furnishing my GSTR1, I have wrongly furnished GST number of other person as against your GST number, where the credit would be reflected in 2A or 2B of yours. B2B supply captured as a B2C. Is it going to be captured in your 2A or 2B? Third, I said, sir, it is interstate IGST, but if I mentioned as a intrastate, C plus S, what happened? It will not go in 2A or 2B. Or maybe I'm filing GSTR1 coming in 2A, but not paying taxes, GSTR 3B. Or a situation paying taxes through 3B, but not filing GSTR1 will not come in your 2A. I said, sir, there's no relevance of 2A or 2B. And I have also substantiated my point with a new clause, section 16, subsection 2, subclause AA, which they have introduced in this union budget 2021. And what did this subclause says? The credit which you're availing on invoice and debit note as a buyer, that invoice must be furnished by the supplier in a GSTR1. Meaning thereby you should come in your 2A or 2B. This is prospective clause, yet to be notified. Then simple meaning coming out, unless this clause is made effective for past period, you cannot compel me that credit should be taken as per 2A or 2B. And these are rule-making power. Going beyond the provision need to be checked. Next point, which I have 5 minutes more, just 5 minutes. Possible, Shubham?
Yes, sir, you can continue. Right?
Yes, sir, 10 minutes.
नहीं 5 मिनट ही लूंगा मैं, ज्यादा नहीं लूंगा, 5 मिनट लूंगा, 3-4 पॉइंट और रेज करूंगा. And then next point I raised, sir, I'm getting my mall and hotel constructed. That these mall and hotel going to be used for taxable outward supply on which GST leviable. Where the credit is not available on construction of mall and hotel, is it blocking my credit? Isn't it not? So where is seamless flow of credit? There has to be seamless flow of credit. I'm getting my factory constructed. I'm getting my office constructed. Without factory and office, can I provide taxable outward supply, cascading. I said, sir, you are also creating bottleneck, sales promotion versus gift item. During COVID-19, I've given drugs and medicines, sanitizer, mask to my employee concern, food and beverages to my employee concern. Credit is denied on the pretext it is personal consumption or gift item. Sir, to my employee, it's my responsibility to ensure their physical health. If I'm giving, it is all the purpose of in the course of furtherance of business. If I'm giving gold coin to my distributor and dealer, it is not free gift. I give gold coin only when he achieved the milestone. And milestone means I'm promoting my sales. I'm in the course of furtherance of business. Difference of gift versus commitment age. Gift is voluntarily. You cannot demand from me. It is voluntary in nature. But when I promise to you for gold coin on achievement of milestone, it is legally obligated. Once you achieve the milestone, you will demand from Bimal Jain Company, where is my gold coin? So it is not a gift. Don't say gift. I made comparison with the CSR expenses also, so leaving it out. I touch on export also. Export is a zero rated. Two option, either without IGST and then go for refund of ITC, or with IGST. But I do not know how many of you are aware of that both the options have got one disparity. What is disparity, you know? Credit on capital goods is not available. I'm repeating, is not available when you go with the option of without payment of IGST, refund of ITC. You are not given capital goods credit. Whereas IGST, this is available. Why this disparity? I could not understand. Let me understand policy makers what they thought of. दोनों में difference क्या है? Both are meant for export. Second, मैंने उनसे बोला, sir, everyone is talking about increased export, get more convertible foreign exchange. And in the GST law, you are making change. And what change you are making, you know? Now in this union budget, they are saying this IGST option, payment of IGST option going to be restricted to notified supplier, to notified goods or services, meaning thereby they are going to restrict the option of payment of IGST. Looks like to me, this is going contrary with their perspective. Certain broader point I raised before him, sir, GST was invested as ease of business. But the problem today, and a lot of you will tell me, we happen to be reporting to the, let's say, state officer. Central can come and start investigation and inquiry? Yes, cross empowerment is there, no denial. But my only problem is parallel proceedings. So on same subject matter, both the authority comes in and start investigation where I will go, I'm a sandwich in between two authority. Why can't they speak between themselves? Let one authority undertake whatever they want to do. I'm ready and willing to get my books and accounts documented, get it verified. But I cannot go and report to both of them. Then I talked about recovery proceedings and provisional attachment. Big topic to deliberate, recovery proceedings. If you go back to department, even without issuance of so-called notice, which is not adjudicated, they are initiating recovery proceedings, asking bank, freeze the bank account. Provisional attachment, first determine the demand, then go for provisional attachment. Not many points are there, but I know time is a pause. I need to move to another platform. So I'm thanking AFTP and Webtel and to all the attendees, for listening me so patiently. Within the time frame given to me, I tried to raise 9 pointers. Hope you must be satisfied. These 9 pointers are journey of past, but last statement. These pointers does not mean that GST is not a good and simple tax. Believe me, government is doing their active part, whatever best they can do. As a taxpayer, we need to come forward. We have to support them. We have to submit our representation to them, and they are listening also. And while listening, so many changes are happening. And with so many changes, we are creeping frequent changes. This is like, baby is evolving. Newly born baby takes time for a smooth walk. So it takes time, 4 years gone, but rest assured, this GST is good for nation. Parallel economy, cash economy, this will all go away once we allow space to GST to grow. And once we, taxpayer and tax department comes together, work for the objective of GST, I'm definitely sure the day we are celebrating today on 4th year, when we meet, let's say 9th year or 10th year, that time I would be very smart baby boy, baby girl, and walking so smoothly, because then I would have learned all the, obstacle of GST. Wishing each one of you once again, happy GST day and happy Chartered Accountant Day. Thank you very much.